G'day cheeky dogs, my name's Margie and I'm an Australian currently living in America. Today's video is going to be a breakdown of Bluey Season 3 episode UNICORSE. If you're new to my channel, I love doing Bluey breakdown videos. This is an updated one with all of the Easter eggs and hidden meanings and references and details that maybe you might have missed when you watched the episode. So if you're new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, as well as that bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any other Bluey content. With that being said, let's just jump straight into it with, I guess let's just focus on UNICORSE to start with, because to me, the minute I saw UNICORSE, my first thought was, oh wow, that's aggro. For those of you who don't know who aggro is an Australian course puppet that was around in the 90s. He hosted morning cartoon shows in Australia. He was also technically based in Brisbane too, which is where Bluey is based. And without a doubt, the creators of Bluey would have grown up watching aggro as well. And it is just so similar. I could not get over it.
Oh, hang on, let me read the last bit. As his cannon exploded in...
I'll read it. Tim. I wish I could read.
For those of you overseas, maybe in the UK, you might have thought it reminded you of Basil Bush perhaps, but UNICORSE also does have some Randy felt-face kind of vibes as well. Now UNICORSE, of course, we find out cannot read, which is a really funny kind of little extra detail. The name UNICORSE as well is obviously a reference to him being a unicorn, but course as in horse, but also he is coarse and vulgar, so UNICORSE. I love that it joins together. And I also love that he has a catchphrase, and why should I care? Which is, I feel like a reference to parents of sometimes we just don't want to care, we don't know why we should care. So I think that's a fantastic catchphrase for UNICORSE. There are, of course, a lot of other really cool references to other animation and video games and movies in this episode as well, with my favorite one being the reference to the movie Friday, where UNICORSE goes, ah, my back, my neck, my back and my neck, which quite obviously comes from this movie Friday.
Oh, I'm hurt. Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. Ow, my back, my neck. My back and my neck!
It's a 1995 Gary Gray film, and I think it's just so cool that Ludo Studios referenced this so very specifically in this episode. Some other really cool references as well is the teddy bear lawyer that he has to look after him. But this bear lawyer looks an awful lot like the video game bear from A Night in the Woods. Another reference is the fake neck brace that he wears. Reminds me a lot of the fake neck brace from the Brady Bunch that Uncle Fester wore. We also have an Adventure Time reference where in Adventure Time, rainicorns, or unicorns there, they like to eat humans, and UNICORSE in this episode says that he likes to eat children.
What's your favorite food?
Children.
Oh.
And then quickly, of course, changes it to Chicken Bucket. Chicken Bucket, an obvious reference to KFC, but that's a licensing thing, so no wonder they couldn't say KFC. We also have a SpongeBob SquarePants reference when UNICORSE is going meep, 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 meep. It's just like the anchovies in SpongeBob, which are also just as annoying as UNICORSE. We also have UNICORSE switching from meep and saying meh and meh, 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 meh. This is definitely a reference to Margaret Robertson from The Amazing World of Gumball. She is also a puppet species. It's puppet, like UNICORSE is a puppet, but the only words that she can say is meh, meh, meh. So absolutely a reference to that too. And I think we even have a Simpsons reference in here as well. When UNICORSE says to Chili that she'll live to regret that, it reminded me so much of Sideshow Bob when he says that you'll live to regret this. And we've had quite a few Simpson references before in previous episodes of Bluey. The third really awesome reference is, of course, the music. The music in Bluey is absolutely incredible, and this episode is no different. We have some classical music that has been turned into a disco remix and is the William Tell Overture, which is also iconically known with like horse racing, and again, UNICORSE, he's a unicorn or a horse, so a really good mixture here for that music.
No!
I'm done, Bluey.
I can handle this, Mom. Unicorn!
Another really cool music Easter egg though as well is, again, to classical music and Beethoven being a classical composer. But on the ground there we see a record album and it's got a Saint Bernard on it. The Saint Bernard was the iconic dog in the movie Beethoven. Beethoven music, record. You get what I'm saying here. But that's a really cool little extra Easter egg there on the ground. Cheeky dogs, if you've been enjoying this video so far, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up down below and leave a comment. It really means a lot to me into helping build my channel, and the YouTube gods also seem to like channels that have lots of likes in them as well. Now, something I do want to bring up as well is that a lot of people commented that they thought that this episode was a massive reference to Bluey having ADHD or ADD possibly. I'm not sure about this, and there's been no real confirmation of this, unlike with Jack, who we know does have ADHD, but a lot of people were showing that, you know, her inability to be able to go to bed at night and struggling to fall asleep is a big sign of this as well, and Bandit saying that, you know, she can't help it, and that's maybe backing that idea up. I honestly don't know. I don't have any confirmation on it. I personally feel like that's just kids and kids do tend to, in general, have struggles with going to sleep at night and staying asleep. I'm going through that at the moment with my son. So it could go honestly either way, and until Ludo Studios tells us any differently, it could just be Bluey being a kid. Our fifth little Easter egg here is the book references, I would say. So in the story that they're actually reading, it's a real life story. It's actually based on a real story about a queen wanting to cover her whole kingdom in leather because she stepped on a spiky stone, though, in the original story. In this story, she steps on a spiky prickle. But it's the same thing. The jester is the one in the end to tell her, no, why would you cover the whole world in leather? That's so silly. You should just wear shoes instead. So it's kind of cool that they included like an actual real world story into this story as well. Another really kind of fun thing is the fact that this is also a flip book as well, which is what a lot of the Bluey books in real life are like, especially the book Beach. It is also a little flip book. So kind of a little meta joke or reference there. Something else that I thought was really cool was the star signs. Now, I think maybe, I'm not an astrologist, but possibly that these star signs are Taurus, Cancer, and Scorpio, which could perhaps also reflect our three main characters here of Bandit, Chili, and Bluey. Or perhaps Unicorse in this case. But if you do know anything about star signs, please let me know in the comment section down below. Now we do have a couple of firsts in this episode, and the first is the fact that Chili actually reads the title card.
This episode of Bluey, unfortunately, is called UNICORSE.
This is the first episode for her to do it, so it was really cool hearing her say it. But it was also the first time that the title card reading dialogue was changed because she added in the word unfortunately. Whereas normally it's just this episode is called. But we can tell that Chili is not a massive fan of Unicorse. We do also have a few other little mini background details that you might have missed. The first one is the book that Bandit is reading has a little paw print on the back of it. And we also see a picture of Bandit as an archaeologist over there in the background on the wall as well. We of course have some Aussie slang references too, and a lot of what Unicorse says, as well as Chili. So Unicorse uses the word toots, which of course means kind of babe or love, but toots is sort of like a more not as nice term to use. Chili, of course, tells him to jog on, which means to go away quite aggressively. And as well as she also says little mate. Mate we use all the time. But I do have to give a shout out to all the nicknames that Chili got in this episode from Unicorse, because it was so interesting seeing just how much Unicorse could rhyme her name with, such as Silly, Billy, Willy, and Millie. Overall for me, this episode is a 4.5 out of 5 long dogs. It was awesome seeing a new character like Unicorse come into the episode. It was also great seeing a bit of a contrast, like something a bit more out there, a bit more vulgar, or just a bit more extreme, because that's what Australian puppets are like. If you haven't seen the Australian show The Ferals, that is what I grew up on, and that was like a dominatrix cat in that. So our version of the puppets is definitely not as PC as, say, America's version of like the Sesame Street puppets. So I think it was great adding in this kind of more Aussie detail into the show. So for me, definitely a 4.5 out of 5 long dogs, but what would you guys give it? Let me know in that comment section down below. And don't forget to hit that like button as well as that subscribe and bell button as well while you're there, so you know whenever I release another video. But until then, I have picked out a few other videos that maybe you cheeky dogs would like to watch, and I will see you all in another video. Mwah! Bye!